Hello, sunshine. Welcome to Be Visible with Veronica, the podcast where bold conversations and soul-aligned strategy help you awaken your most powerful self. I'm your host, Veronica Bahn. Get ready to stop dimming your light, own your magic, and finally be so visible you can't be ignored. Let's get visible. A heartfelt thank you to our premier sponsor, Green Living Magazine, Arizona's leading conscious lifestyle publication. Each issue is packed with new ideas on how to use nature's resources for sustainable living tips, inspiring stories, and statewide eco events. Subscribe today and get 12 print issues and digital access at greenlivingmag.com/store. Hello, sunshine. I'm Veronica Bahn. Welcome to our podcast. I'm thrilled that you're joining us, whether you're watching us or you're listening, because I have an incredible conversation for you today with Miss Jennifer Chris, an entrepreneur, maybe in the baby stages of this new venture you're looking at, which is what this whole venture for me is all about. And we met back in the summer, almost a year ago.
Almost a year ago. That's correct.
And you were running the facility. We were having a networking event at Stone Creek Golf Course, correct?
That's correct.
And I met you, and it was like magnets.
It was. I completely agree. I met you and I thought, ooh, I'm going to connect with her. I'm so excited for what they're doing here. I couldn't actually learn fast enough what eWomen was about. And so I kind of got in trouble at work because I was so engaged and I was so willing to be engaged. So yeah, it was a great start to this relationship.
It sure was. And then I learned that you were this incredible, I've probably said that word more than once. I need a new word today.
That's okay.
I have to look in one of my books, but that you were an esthetician, and I was looking, and I always, as part of what I do in the community as a marketer, a business consultant, strategist, eWomen Network, whatever hat I'm wearing, I am constantly learning to cultivate relationships, build relationships, and have experiences with people in the community. And that actually sometimes can backfire because people will say, well, I thought I was doing this, or I thought I was your person for that. And for me, it's just, I have to get to know everybody. I want to build a relationship, and I want to make connections because there is no competition. There's only collaboration. And I found myself laying on your table having a microneedling experience.
That's very interesting way to put it. Yes, you were completely open and available to the things that I was talking to you about when we first met. And so the willingness to step into a space with a complete stranger to do that type of a procedure where you are completely vulnerable, you're on your backside. You have no makeup on. You come into a stranger's space and you don't know what to expect. And are they going to be professional? Or are they going to do a good job? Am I going to walk out of this with wasting my money, wasting my time, wasting my investment? So the engagement and the investment in what I did I think spoke volumes just about you as a person. I was very honored.
Thank you, Jennifer. And we filmed it. We
did. You I think you sent it to the group or put it on Facebook or something.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But, and in fact, that's where one of the conversations came where somebody said to me, well, didn't you know I did microneedling? And this is the new space I want to make sure we're cultivating is this community of entrepreneurship where women are lifting and we're growing and we're engaging and we're supporting. And I might not do business with you, but you know what? I have a vast network and I have influence in my community, and I'm going to open up that network to share that with you if I believe you're somebody that I would do business with if it was a product or service I needed at the time. But I want to make sure that I'm sharing my community with you. And that was why I wanted to have that experience. And then we've continued to have those connections, those experiences. And, it helps that you are freaking beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
You betcha. And so I'm looking at you going, well, if her skin looks that good and she cares that much about how she looks, then she's going to take care to make sure that her whatever procedure she's doing, I'm open to it and I want to have that conversation. And while I was laying there and you were doing the micro needling treatment, which was ouch, but had great results at the end. I mean, you were pretty good. You knew what needles to use. You knew all the things.
I did.
I'm not going to sit here and act like I could describe what it was we went through. But if you are looking for the audience, why don't you just tell them quickly what that is, like what they get from having an experience with microneedling?
So microneedling is a form of collagen induction therapy. So what it does is it tricks the skin into thinking that it's got an injury, it's got a wound.
Okay.
And so it forces it to create more collagen and elastin in a faster rate of pace than as we age, it kind of slows down. I think I read somewhere that it was 25 is when it starts to really slow down. So if you think in terms of the amount of time that you're losing that kind of reproductive cycle, by the time we're in our 40s, mid 40s, going into our 50s, we have to then look at our skincare in terms of how the efficacy is and the time that is elapsing. And so at 25, you can use a face cream and you're going to see instant results in a week. At 30, you're looking at maybe 2 weeks. At 35, you're looking at maybe 3 or 4, and then it exponentially gets longer and longer. So to incorporate this type of a service into your skincare routine, it just kind of forces the agenda and makes it just a little bit faster so that not only are you getting more bang for your buck with the products that you're using, whatever you're using, if you're using the stuff that I'm suggesting, or if you're using something that you love, it just makes it work better because it gets more into the, without getting into the weeds of the skin.
Well, for me, it amplified my results.
Yes.
So everything that I was using worked that much better. And I spent a lot of money on my skincare. Mm-hmm. And I have some of my favorites that are just super affordable and some that are a little stretched, but they're those yummy, juicy things that I use every day. And I've seen a big difference when I'm taking care of my skin. And, you know, part of being an entrepreneur is putting yourself out there and networking. And you want to put your best face forward.
You do.
And this is just one of those ways that, for me, it's self-care investment. And it's important. It's part of my monthly routine of what I'm doing. I take care to make sure I'm putting my best face forward all the time. And it was ingrained in me from my Nana and my mom. I'll never forget when she took me to my first Estee Lauder appointment. Like that, I felt like such a big girl. You know, I was having a skincare routine before I even really understood what that meant. But I watched other women in my family taking really good care of their skin, and I saw you, and I thought, let's have that. Let's have a treatment done. But more importantly, you are working a full-time job. So this is for those entrepreneurs that are asking, when do I quit my full-time? Can I have a full-time and still be in entrepreneurship? And what is the definition of entrepreneurship? Is it somebody that has an idea, creates a product, has to have a patent, goes into, or no, it's really you becoming your own boss, generating an income stream because you have a product or a service that is needed in the community. You have proof of concept, and oftentimes it comes from your own personal need, and then magic happens all over the world. I mean, we've seen women create Spanx. I just learned yesterday that a woman created a product. She found mushrooms that eat plastic diapers, like because she has kids, like this whole.
Oh, that's so interesting.
So you never know.
You never know.
No, you don't. And I'm laying on your table, and you start telling me about this exciting thing you have going on. But not only that, you were telling me about a podcast that you had, like all of these things I was learning from you, and I'm sitting there going, man, this woman's wearing multiple hats.
Yeah.
This is really about entrepreneurship. And we were talking about your next hire and your thing, but your idea. So I'm just going to set the table
Okay, you're going to
here.
lay it out. Okay.
Because in the process of loving all these products and trying different things, I will go shopping because I'm out of something, or I want to try a new foundation, or I want to try a new powder, or I have this thing in my drawer that I love, and now because of the water and different products, the labels run off. And I'm laying there talking to you, and I keep saying laying there because you're literally on your back. I'm looking up, and she's running the machine.
And I'm looking down, and we're the most unnatural situation to make eye contact, correct?
Yes. So much. Oh, we have a little, who was playing in the background? Diane Carroll? Crawl.
Yeah, Diana Crawl. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, we got there.
So
and it just
good.
randomly came on, and we both just vibed the entire time.
So vibe.
Yeah.
But you have this idea, and we don't want to give it away.
No.
So we probably don't want to say what it is.
Well, okay, so I can allude to a little bit about maybe where it's going to go and what it's going to look like. Just a little bit.
Okay, yeah, because we don't want to give it away yet, because you're like in the beginning patent creation stage.
I am.
So this is what's fun, though, because this is like the starting entrepreneur, like this life that I get to see. I'm right now I have a front row seat of what this is going to become. But it has something to do with how many of you beautiful souls have gone to the makeup counter, or you want to go make a purchase, Amazon, whatever, and you can't remember what's in your drawer.
Yes.
Or you can't remember what some of your favorite things are.
Yes.
So
And so to that, without, giving all of the goodies away, if you will, I have worked with many women over my lifetime. I've been a makeup artist since I was a kid. I spent most of my allowance on Wet n Wild lipsticks, hence the red. It's a signature. But it's one of those things that I've always loved to do. And so as a person that has been in this my entire life and playing and feeling and going in and looking at stuff and asking questions and going to the counters and saying, so how do you use that? What do you use when you use this product? How does that work better? I really always wanted to get into the kind of the guts of the products. I've also worked with and been blessed to work with many other artists that are much more talented than me. So to learn the tips and the tricks and to understand how to kind of incorporate something new and to remember that product as something new. I think it's really this idea that I have, back to your point of this app, is to make life with your products a little bit easier and much faster in terms of, because we are all on such limited time frames of life, and Amazon is probably the biggest resource that most of us use on the daily basis. So it's just going to make things easier and better, and that convenience of having it with you all the time, I think is my ultimate goal, and I'm just so excited. And I was super excited actually this morning when I thought about this interview and this conversation that we were going to be having about what that would actually look like, and to be able to talk about it. It just gives me so much joy, and I'm so excited to create it. And I get, like most entrepreneurs, caught in the weeds of, what colors and what the bubbles are going to look like and all of that stuff. So I don't know, but I'm working on it, and it's conversations that I have with women that help me kind of fine tune it, so that my goal is this year to get it out, get it done, and get it into people's hands.
I love that you're in the process of that and you're sharing, and I can't wait till the launch, because you're coming back on the show to do that.
Thank you.
And for those of you who need to see what this conversation is looking like, go to YouTube and find us, because that's how you'll see us and not just hear us. So I want to talk about, we've talked about music we love. We talked about your podcast, which I want you to share what that is. And it's okay that it went on hiatus because your partner had twins. So let's talk about that for a second, because I actually brought Jennifer in here to be one of my first guests, because she did hair and makeup for all of us, and all of my guests get a little treated.
I did.
Making us glam up a little bit for the camera.
I did.
I love when Kaylee left and she said, I've never had that experience before. So it's very VIP level here as a guest on my show.
I love that. I love to be able to be a part of these types of conversations and be in the room. That's one of the things that I love about working with the clientele that I work with. I get to be part of such amazing, life-changing, most of the time, experiences, weddings, 16th birthdays, podcasts, people that are doing maybe their first promo shoot for an item, and this is their first time on camera. Like, I get to be a part of all of that stuff.
Brand shoots. I had no photographers are reaching out to you to come do the makeup and hair for the brand photography that they're doing for the individual.
Yep.
So.
And so I get to be a part of all of that stuff. So when to the podcast, I had this idea, I had this push, like you, this internal, I need to do this. This is a part of my message, my gifting, and I feel like the giftings that we get from God are not gifts for us to keep, but for us to share, because it's a gift that we're gifted to give it out. It's a gift that we have to share. So I had this compelling I got to do a podcast. I got to do a podcast. I got to do a podcast. Get really, really, I got to do a podcast. And so I met this wonderful woman randomly, not unlike yourself, at a workout. She came up to me and asked me what I did. We instantly connected again. It's all this God, kismet, whatever you want to call it. It's just the timing was perfect. And so we got to be fast friends. We both are in the industry of beauty. She does bridal updos and hair, and she knows everything you ever want to know about hair. And then I'm on the opposite side, right? So we had the conversation, and I said, so I think we would do a really great job of a podcast. Would you have time? And so we threw it together. We sat in my living room and we went all over the names and what do we want to call it? What's our opening line? How long should it be? Who's going to be all the things?
This is before chat, you guys. No, the AI hadn't taken place for you yet.
No.
This was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, this was completely raw. This was pen to paper. We had many names that were.
Who remembers that? Remember when we did pen to paper?
I carry pen and paper all the time, and I absolutely love it. It's one of those things that if I'm jotting on my phone, I don't remember. Muscle has memory, right?
Right.
And so it was one of those things that once we actually figured out what we wanted it to look like, then we went into the studio, we recorded, and so it's called Encounters of the Beauty Kind. It's still up on Instagram. We are on hiatus because we were both going through, right as we were getting some momentum, we both started going through some really big life changes. For her, it was family, and it was her babies. And for me, it was the separation and divorce from my husband. So those types of things, they have to take precedent. And so now that we're both coming on the other side of things and we have more time and we are talking again about coming back together, I think that it will be much more joyful. We will have much more life experience, and I will have so much more to share because I've had so many experiences.
Right? Isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
I had a conversation the other day with a woman, and we were talking about how in the journey of entrepreneurship, there is never... We put goals out there and what we think are finishing lines. I was always told when you hit this finishing line or when you hit the first 6 figures or if your goal is 7 figures or quit the job and all of that that would mean success. I kept looking for the angels can choir singing, you've arrived, like all these things. And what I realized is I just evolved into the next thing. And the next thing, and the next. And I had to be really open to when to make that shift. I hate the word pivot. But when the paradigm shows up and you are granted this opportunity, because people will talk all the time about luck. Well, preparedness creates luck. That quote is very famous. I do not know who to credit it to at the moment.
Either.
But it's not a Veronica quote. And maybe it's a Veronica-ism because I just changed it up a little bit.
Maybe,
I don't know. But having that conversation around, I'm here, but now it's time to go create the next thing, or it's time to go hire the next person. And I love that you're in this journey, and then you stepped back, and you were held, and you were safe, and you were okay, and now you're coming out of it again. And there was a couple things you've shared with me that were these aha moments. You really embrace Jennifer. You embrace your culture. You embrace your upbringing. You talk so beautifully of your mom and dad.
No, thank you.
Your family means the world to you. But you've shifted into a new job. You've moved. You are your own boss, and you're in the job still.
I am.
And then you have these 2 other things that you're doing, and you're still being an esthetician and have your clients who love you, who were like, no, you cannot just leave me hanging. So you have all these hats you're wearing. How have you found how have you been able to manage each one so that they're getting a slice of you, and yet you still have time for yourself?
That's a great question. It took me a long time to allow myself to do all of that at the same time and not feel guilty about taking away from one or thinking I'm shortchanging one for the other. And I think that allowing myself to have that space to say, okay, so maybe I didn't get it all done today, but I have tomorrow. And if I am always being thoughtful of the next step, not necessarily not being in the moment, but thinking about, okay, so maybe this month isn't the best month, allowing myself the grace to say, I don't have enough for this. I don't have enough to give for this. But I know that it's always going to be there because it's one of those things that it just drives me. I have such a passion for working with people and educating people and making them feel better, beautiful, more prepared, whatever you want to call it. I love giving that part of myself to other people. And if I didn't have that outlet, I think I would be like a fiction character, like Lady Haversham with the gloves and the cats. I would just, not to say the cats aren't great. I have dogs. I love cats, all the things. But I wouldn't be the same.
You wouldn't be growing. You'd
No.
be shriveling and shrinking. It's like the rock that just sits there.
Yeah. And at the balance. So the balance is, so to answer your question a bit more comprehensively, I do my JOB, and I love my JOB because I get to experience and connect with people that I would never have come across ever. And I
You're
get to
so good at that. I just must say,
Thank you.
You're such a beautiful connector.
Thank you. I love connecting people. And so making those connections and getting to meet people, and then also being a part of some of the people that I work alongside, I get to be, I hope, an influence of change and positivity and light and joy. And so I get to do that. And then when I'm not doing that on my days off, I am very calculated in my time. I make lists. I'm a list maker. I'm always thinking about the next thing, like my app, like my space. Like eventually another goal of mine is to be mobile and to have a mobile unit and to be able to go onto location and have it all in one spot. So that I'm not necessarily having to worry about lugging all my stuff and then lugging
Making
it all
sure
home.
everything's in the box you
Yep,
need.
that it's all there, prepared and ready to go. And so
Sounds great.
I'm always looking for the other thing that I'm going to be doing next, that gifting share.
So because your time is very scheduled and you get scheduled 2 and 3 weeks out, you know exactly how you plan your month. I love that. I think that every entrepreneur needs to know that. One of my coaches told me, and she talks about this all the time, what are the 3 things you need to be doing every day to move the needle forward that are non-negotiable? So making a list is great, but how are you making money? Is that needle that you're moving forward part of your making money? And let's face it, entrepreneurs out there, we are out there sharing a product or a service because we believe in it, but money is an exchange of energy, and that knowledge and that share and that product comes with a sale. There's a transaction that's happening. But what I've gotten to see and what I love is when you look at your business as a business relationship builder, I'm sitting here creating a platform for Jennifer to share her beautiful story, all these stories that we've talked about so far with with Dr. Brenda Combs and Miss Carrie Conley. I'm here to create a platform that allows visibility in what they're doing. And whether you're online creating a return on your influence, or you're knee to knee, or you're at your JOB, every relationship builds on itself. And we have to be able to be worthy to take those funds, that money, and put it in the bank account. And what is moving the needle forward every single day? And I love that you said you create lists, because I'm a list creator too, but I've gotten better, Jennifer. My list, I had to learn how to make my list be very intentional.
Yep.
And what is making the cash register ring and moving this business that I love, this baby that I've birthed that is now this young adult, moving into this space. And so for you, what are the 3 things you think you need to do every day to make the cash register ring? Or maybe 1.
Well, I think that falling back to making those connections and making those relationships, I think really being, I think a bit more intentional and a bit more scheduled in those reach outs, because I'm always so delighted and surprised when I hear from you and it's just out of the blue. Hey, Jennifer, this is so-and-so. We have this connection. I think you guys would be a great fit. And it's usually out of the blue, and I'm always very surprised. Not always. I'm usually very pleasantly surprised because I I'm always very humbled to be remembered. And so that's probably one of the things that I need to work on a little bit more is being intentional about, okay, who did I touch this week? Who did I connect with? Who would maybe benefit from hey, you're on my mind. I just wanted to see how you were doing for no other reason.
And that doesn't take very long.
No, it takes 2 seconds.
Whether you drop into somebody's DM, whether you comment on a social media post to say hello, and please don't just my transform my social media business is kicking in. It needs to be a conversation you're having with somebody. Build relationships, check in with people, say hi, say hello, say happy birthday, because networking doesn't have to be in person. Even though this is beautiful. The need and is beautiful. Building that, looking in somebody's eyes, having a conversation is lovely, but we can do that online as well. And showing up authentically. This is the piece that I love with you is everybody that I've interviewed. And my intention is they show up, they're real, they walk their walk, they are intentional about who they are and the conversations they want to have. And the quality of the connections. Wow. And I get that there are products out there that have been developed by women entrepreneurs that are reaching millions of people. And there's no way that woman who sits in that CEO suite now is touching and having a conversation with everyone who has bought a product from her, if you're in products. But your mission, your message, your website, how you show up on an interview, the thank yous you put out there, the little touches that you give people when they get your product or service, that speaks volumes. So you have love behind what you do.
I do.
And that is deeply rooted.
I can't. As hard as I would ever think to try, I would never be able to turn it off. It just, when I start to talk about it, it just comes out. And I have to kind of pull it back a little bit because I do tend to get a little obnoxiously overexcited. Yeah. And then, you can watch people and some people get in it with you and they're, super excited and other people.
That would be me.
Yeah. And so it's just one of those things. But there was something that you said about the connections. And I feel that one of the things that I have had to learn the hard way is that the connection that I'm hoping to create doesn't necessarily have to mean dollars all the time. I think that by reaching out to somebody to say, you're on my mind, I hope you're well, I was thinking about you, I saw this product, I think you would love it, because I don't work for any brands, right? So it's really just about maybe they'll come back to me, maybe they won't, maybe they'll find somebody else that is closer geographically, and I'm okay with that. There's plenty of love to go around.
I love that. Yeah. All about collaboration, not competition.
There's tons of that I have done for many of my peers, coworkers.
So when we're talking about entrepreneurship and showing up as your true north, like being very in alignment with who you are, walking forward with confidence, having courage to keep doing the thing that sets your soul on fire. Do you have people in your community that are your cheerleaders? Like they're going to be the oxygen on your flame when it feels like it's dimming, or they're going to be that kerosene that makes it be a bonfire? Because I think that's so important too. You have to make sure you're cultivating a community around you that will tell you when that's a no, give you information like a coach on a blind spot, and that you're learning more from being in huge personal development, which today I have the book, The Alchemist, here. So you said it's been, so here's your third vision of this.
It's been suggested many times throughout my life, yes.
Great book.
Yes.
And it's a short read. The Audible's really good too. It's a really interesting walk. But you talked about that self-care piece. And so what is one thing in your schedule that you make sure you do that keeps lighting you up or that person that makes sure that they're breathing, putting that oxygen into your fire to keep you going. Because what you have to do on the world today is so impactful. What you're going to do for women's bathrooms, oh my gosh.
I know. I'm excited for that bathroom transformation for sure. That countertop.
Yes.
So I have a few people. One of which is my best girlfriend. She is, I think, kind of on the same volume level as my mom. When I start to go into something, or I'm thinking maybe I can't really do that. I'm not talented enough. That imposter syndrome. Maybe I just don't have enough experience. Maybe somebody else could do it better. I always have her, regardless of what I'm doing. I always have her in the back of my mind saying, "You are talented enough. You know what you're doing. Just try it. Just take that leap of faith." She is a big believer in leaps of faith, and so she's one of the biggest cheerleaders. So she's probably one of my biggest champions. And then to answer the other question, part of that question is what I do for myself in self-care. I typically take myself to dinner at least once a month.
It's a fancy restaurant?
Fancy restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah, and I will go and I will sit and I will have my dinner and I will just process through and just either people watch, or I will, sometimes I let work sneak in there a little bit, but for the most part, it's really just about that.
So where's the last place you took yourself to dinner?
Cooper's Hawk.
Oh, yummy. They have great appetizers.
They have great appetizers. I don't know that that's a big national thing. I've talked to some people that don't live here and they're, what is that? So Cooper's Hawk is like a winery restaurant. It's close to where I live now, and
it's an experience.
It's a whole experience. But I feel safe in going there by myself and just sitting and having my time.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
What did you order?
I had pasta. I had like a chicken pasta, and it was lovely. And she said it was going to be a lot, and I thought, oh, I'll conquer this. No, I had a gigantic to-go box.
Well, there's lunch tomorrow.
Yes.
I love that.
Always have leftovers.
So as you are this makeup artist, and that is incredibly talented, because everyone who walked in here was a different skin tone, different hair color. You brought them to life. You made them feel beautiful on set.
Thank you.
You came in and captured my best side. And I love that you had the podcast experience, because you added some touches to the studio here, which I love. So thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
What is the best way for somebody to get a hold of you?
So they can reach me on either Jennifer-Chris.com. There's a story behind the hyphen. Okay. And or Instagram, Jennifer Chris, and that's CHRISS.
And we will put that in the show notes as well.
I would love
and
that.
If you follow Veronica Bahn on Instagram, you will also find our connections there, because and on YouTube. There's so many ways to connect to find you. And right now, your studio is located in what part of the valley?
So my current location is in Scottsdale, Arizona. I have been there for a couple of years, and I'm currently kind of in transition limbo, figuring out where I want to be, if I want to move to the south part of the valley, or continue to stay there, keep my clientele. I'm really hoping to do both, because I have such a great group of people that I work with. I would hate to lose. Even just the connection, I would hate to lose.
I love the mobile version too.
I
think you should be writing that down.
I
don't know anybody who's doing that.
That's a part of it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know anybody who's doing that.
But then back to your question about funding, I think a lot of it is the balance of, okay, so you have overhead, right? You have inventory, especially for the things that I do. It's all very expensive. Quality is quality, and you can't scrimp on quality, especially when you're working with people, like you said, multiple skin tones, multiple age ranges, multiple backgrounds. I never know what someone's skin is going to do when I touch them. So quality is a part of the overhead. And so my biggest challenge at this point is really having a surplus of funds to be able to throw into that, because one thing is going to follow the other. So that is my prayer, is for that line of income, money stream to kind of filter in, so that I can create that.
I love that. And I love that you've shared with me, you have a number in mind. And
I do.
So as your JOBs going forward, you also know what you're putting away every month to help you in that space. But there is something about creating a space where you feel where it's beautiful and you walk in. For me, I'm leaving my office, my home office, I'm coming and I'm having an experience. So where you're at right now is this really beautiful experience, and it's yummy. And
Thank
so
you.
thank you for that. And thank you for all your help in what you did for all of our guests and how you show up for them and how you've shown up for me.
Thank you.
Because I appreciate that you're here. And if you want to hear more about entrepreneurs and their journey, and you also love to learn about beautiful nonprofits, then stay tuned next week for my interview with Kaylee Rogers. Oh, she's full of sunshine. She fits right in.
Yes, she is.
Oh my gosh. And she is with Broken Arrow Wranglers, and she's going to be coming on and telling her story and all the beautiful things she's doing with horses. So bye for now, and we'll see you next week. Oh, wait, I forgot.
What'd you forget?
My gift for my guest. I'm still getting used to this. So I have a gift for you.
Oh, boy.
It's all kinds of yummy.
Oh, it's so cute. I'm going to get too close to my microphone and blow the
Okay.
engineer's ears out. Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on.
But there's all kinds of things at the bottom. But I just wanted to thank you for coming on, Jennifer.
Oh my gosh, it's so precious.
And I can't wait to see you in a couple months, maybe by the end of the year. Can
Yes.
you put that on your goal calendar to get that app launched?
Absolutely.
Okay, I love it. Well, you heard her, you guys. She's got till December 31st, 2025.
December 31st, yes.
We'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in to Be Visible with Veronica. If today's episode sparked something in you, share it, tag me, and pass it on. Your presence has power, and the world is better when you let it be seen. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and keep showing up as the unstoppable force you were born to be. I'll see you next time.